So hi all, this is Sanjay Degaonkar. So I'm starting the series of a Spring Boot session. So let's start. All the material you will find it is related to Spring Boot on my GitHub repository. So github.com and Sanjay Degaonkar is my account. Under that, Spring Boot is the repository. So this is the public repository. Anybody can access from any location. So you'll find it on my repository, slides or notes and all the project demos. So this course is completely practical and project oriented. So as this course is project oriented, so it's very much easier for anybody to clear the interview on Spring Boot subjects. So let's discuss what is the agenda of a Spring Boot. So very important questions everybody should know before starting the subject. That what is the syllabus of that subject, right? Okay, so why Spring Boot? Then Spring Boot features. Then first Hello World example, then CRUD operations, right? So complete practical sessions. So Spring Boot with REST, with Spring Data JPA, with in-memory database, with MySQL database. Okay. So obviously one hidden point is there using layered architecture. So separate controller layer, service layer, DAO layer, right? So we have to implement all these CRUD operations. The next topic is actuator. The next is profile, auto configuration, time leaf. Then in any topic, one of the very important topic is how to cover the exception handling, right? So handling the exception in core Java is different. In servlet JSP, it's different. In web services, it is different, right? In Spring Boot, we have a different way to handle the exceptions. Then one of the most important topic in Spring Boot is transaction management, right? So this is the topic where frequently we get the interview questions, transaction management, right? So we'll cover this topic in a depth. Then miscellaneous points like how to change the server, though it is not recommended, but still if you want to change the server in Spring Boot, how to change it. Then explicitly how to do the component scan, or other miscellaneous points like what is the difference between application.properties or application.yaml. Then one more important topic is there in Spring Boot, that is security, which we'll cover in microservices course. Okay, so let's start this Spring Boot introduction first. Okay, so first of all, let's try to understand only Spring framework, right? So in 2003, Rod Johnson has introduced this Spring framework. Right? So before 10 years, there was a different definition of Spring framework. So definition in the sense, number of modules. Then before 5 years, there was a different situation. In today's world, there is a different situation. Right? Let me share one simple analogy of JavaScripting. So when the JavaScripting was introduced in the first time, so what was the definition of JavaScripting? It was a client-side validation only, right? But that's not the definition in today's world. So before some years, it was a definition like it was object-based. Today, JavaScripting is object-oriented. In the same manner, Spring has developed gradually by adding n number of modules. It was initially just for dependency injection. Then next was AOP. Then likewise, they gradually added the modules, right? But if you see officially, n number of modules are there, and as a developer point of view, it's very difficult to learn all the modules, right? So instead of that, we can go for a Spring Boot. So initially, we'll try to understand all the points theoretically. Each and every point we would like to see practically. Okay, so this is the official definition of a Spring Boot from the spring.io website. Spring Boot makes it easy to create standalone. So this is very important term. So just like a standalone application, we can create a Spring Boot application. production grade Spring based application that you can just run. Right? So as a standalone application, we can run this Spring Boot project. Right? So it's a containerless deployment, right? So obviously container is there, but the container inside app, if we consider servlet application, we have a opposite case, right? Application we have inside the container, but in case of Spring Boot, opposite case is there, container inside app. So there is an inbuilt container Tomcat, right? We get it. So that to just run the application. Okay, so what are the features of Spring Boot? So what Spring Boot gives us? So very first thing is that we already discussed, create standalone Spring applications. Then embed Tomcat, Jetty or under2. So by default, we have a Tomcat. Right? If you want to change it, you can change it. But this is not recommended. As a developer point of view, we want to focus on project rather than infra. The next point is provide opinionated starter POMs to simplify your Maven configuration. So provide opinionated starter POMs means what? Let me share one simple analogy or example. Say you might have gone through that you want to add the Tomcat server in Eclipse, right? Then you have to take care of a compatibility issue. So for example, something like Tomcat 7, it works only with JDK 1.7. If you have something like JDK 9 version and Tomcat 7, so it doesn't work, right? So compatibility, we have to check it. So this is one of the headache we don't need to bother in Spring Boot. Right? So we'll see practically also how it provides opinion. Then automatically configure Spring whenever possible. Right? So all the default configuration classes, we get it. Then next is provide production ready features such as metrics, health checks, and externalized configuration. So production environment point of view, it's very much easier for us to check all the things without writing a single line of code. What is the health of our application? How many beans are there? Right? All these things we can check it. Then one of the most important point is absolutely no code generation and no requirement for XML configuration. So once again, one of the biggest concern without Spring Boot project is configuration file. So here in most of the times, we don't need to focus on this part. So all the things we'll see practically further. So Spring Boot offers fast way to build applications. So it says that you more focus on a business features and less on infrastructure. So let me share one simple analogy. Say one of the company serves the support software development for financial banks, suppose, right? So as a financial firm, they want to focus on their financial things as a bank, right? Not on software development. So they are outsourcing this part to the third party. So similar to that, as a developer point of view, we want to focus more on development rather than infra. So this is the thing given by Spring Boot framework. Okay, so what is the environment setup required? We require JDK 1.8. Can we go with JDK 1.7? So yes, answer is yes. But most of the times we use Spring 4 version, right? Minimum Spring 4 version. So for that point of view, minimum JDK 1.8 is required. Then any editor, whether it is STS or IntelliJ or Eclipse editor, then testing point of view, right? So Testing point of view, either you can use Postman or Sophia editor. Then how many ways are there to create a project? So first way is Maven project or web initializer, command line Spring Boot CLI, or Spring Starter project. Okay, so in our next session, we'll see our first Hello World project. Thank you.